Every day at Sierra, you'll find top brand apparel, footwear, and gear for 20 to 60% less than department and specialty store prices. And during clearance time at Sierra, those incredible prices are 40 divided by 2.5, carry the 1, even lower. And when you shop clearance at Sierra, you can save a whole lot more on everything you need to get active and outside. That's a lot of saving. Epic brands, vast selection, teeny tiny prices. That's Sierra. Visit your local Sierra store today or shop online at Sierra.com.
We're here because your heightened awareness deserves heightened entertainment. The Last Show with David Cooper.
This week, there is drama in the UK, and it's not that the Queen has died. That already happened. It's David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. They are facing public scrutiny, outlash, after their son, Brooklyn Beckham, has detailed a family rift, interference with his wedding. It has brought private tension of these celebrities into the spotlight, and we are joined by Esther Walker, a British journalist. Check out her Substack. It's called The Spike, to discuss just this. Esther, welcome to the program.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
At a high level, I think what I know is this kid, I mean, he's young, he's 26, is saying, Mom and Dad interfered with my marriage. They are not great parents. They are really obsessed with their public image. And I'm going to speak to the media and tell them that things have gone amiss. That's my high level understanding. Do you want to paint a little bit more of a picture for me on what's going on?
I mean, you've got it. That is exactly what's happened. And the actual motivations and details are still a little bit unclear. From the newspapers today, it is very obvious that I think, people always say sources close to the Beckhams, but that just means that usually generally just means them have been talking to the Daily Mail. I know you have the Daily Mail in America as well. It's homegrown. We gave it to you. But yes, they've been talking to the Daily Mail. The Beckhams, I believe, have been talking to the Daily Mail to set a few things straight. But, so people are arguing back and forth about what exactly it is that David and Victoria Beckham are supposed to have done wrong. The main takeaway seems to have been at their wedding in 2022. Victoria Beckham hijacked the first dance between Brooklyn and his wife, Nicola Peltz, who is American, and danced inappropriately on him. So that's his words. And this has sent everyone absolutely bonkers with glee at the idea that Victoria Beckham was dancing inappropriately with her own son at his wedding to some woman, and Nicola is supposed to have run out crying. But there's other accusations of controlling behavior, controlling him with money, legal stuff to do with his name, which nobody particularly understands. Stuff to do with Victoria refused to help Nicola with her displaced dog charity, I think after the LA wildfires. It kind of went on and on and on. It was sort of 6 pages of it. But just personally, what I think is interesting is how as a family, because yes, they're a brand and they're celebrities and people think of celebrities as sort of not really real people, but how as a family they got here, they got to this place. Because mothers and their sons, I've got a son, he's 12. And the relationship with a mother and her son is really very particular. And I think it's, I love my daughter, but my son it's a slightly different relationship. And the idea that he would kind of go on Instagram age 26 and say, my mum did this, she did that, she did, with sons don't tend to do that with their mothers. Daughters, yeah, they do that. But sons don't tend to get that personal. So there's all sorts of speculation as to what's going on. And I think what we're seeing here is a very similar situation to the Princess of Wales, formerly known as Kate Middleton, and Meghan Markle, which is just a good old-fashioned culture clash. And this isn't just that the Peltzers are American and the Beckhams are British. It's more, it's different. It's different levels of rich. The Beckhams are rich. They've got roughly £400 million. Not sure what that is in dollars.
$10 or $15 total, yeah. No, I'm kidding. Look, I want to push back what you said here about celebrities living on a different planet and it not being relatable, because I think we all know people, maybe even family members, who are overly image conscious. And one of the complaints by the Beckham's kid is that the parents wanted this narrative in the media of how they were perceived and what was said and what kind of photographs were taken and how the family should appear. And that didn't work for him. And he's claiming that his parents did it in a very negative, controlling way. That one point of being overly image conscious, that can happen to regular people, which to me makes this story at least somewhat relatable. My mother is a recovering controlling Jewish mother. She behaves well now. But when I was growing up, it was like, what'll the friends think? No matter what I did,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that comes from a place of major anxiety, that kind of controlling behavior. And Victoria Beckham, who I've got a lot of time for, I do. I think she's a good person, but I think she is a very, very anxious person. And I think that her controlling nature all comes from there. And what happens as a family if you say to your children, if you said to a young David Cooper, I don't want you to do that or dress like that or be like that because I'm worried about what people that we know will say, you are denying your child the opportunity to individuate. And this is incredibly significant and important thing that everybody has to do. You have to separate from your family by force if necessary. Otherwise, you will simply be in what is called arrested development, in which nobody wants arrested development. And I think that it's quite key that Brooklyn Beckham now is 26 and he got married in 2022. So that makes him 22, right?
Kind of a young marriage, I gotta say.
That's very young. And even though I think the Beckham, David and Victoria were quite young when they got married, but 22 in these days is pretty young to get married. And I think that was a cry of kind of get me out of here kind of thing, which is may not be anything to do with the actual specifics of the treatment that he received, and more to do with the fact that just biologically, chemically, humanly, we need to separate from our origin family. We will come back later, but we need to be allowed to separate. And I think that the Beckham's kind of happy family obsession didn't really allow for that to happen. He says that we had to turn up to every photo shoot. We had to be there in every photo. And if you've got 4 children with various lives and stuff to do, that's very difficult. They would have been phone calls going, no, you have to be here. You have to be here. And that, as a child, I'm not sure how healthy that is.
I just want to underscore what you said about overly controlling families, not allowing their children to individuate. That is such good advice. This is like free therapy advice, $0 for anyone listening. You sound like you'd be a good parent. Now, any other salacious details that have come out or any other things that you're puzzled by? Maybe Brooklyn's making these claims. Of course, David and Victoria might deny them.
I think they're picking holes. But David and Victoria Beckham haven't said anything. David Beckham was at Davos recently and made sort of vague, things about it. But I mean, there is an interesting push in the UK and I think elsewhere to say that Nicola Peltz is behind all of this. Brooklyn is a sweet boy, and this hasn't come from him. This is all from her. She asked Victoria to help with her displaced dog charity, knowing that Victoria would say no. And all of this there's going to be endless briefing and counter briefing. But I think the key thing here is that when you have a son, when he gets married, his wife is now in charge.
Tell that to my mom.
She needs to hear this because that is important.
Well, Esther, this was a great chat. Thanks for going over the story with me. You can check out Esther on her Substack. That is called The Spike. She's also a British journalist. Esther, it was a joy having you on the show. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, David.
Welcome to Survivor 50.
February 25th on Global.
We chose you to represent 25 years of the greatest adventure on television.
It's the biggest season ever.
The twist is going to open up Pandora's box. Now I see Zach Brown on Survivor.
Welcome to Survivor, Mr. Beast.
Feels a little like a high school reunion meets a massacre.
Survivor 50th season, Wednesday, February 25th on Global. Stream on Stack TV.